I have a long-standing belief that Jayson Tatum has untapped potential to be the best player in the NBA, even post-Achilles tear. Not top 10, not top 5. We've seen him reach these heights already. I'm talking best player in the NBA. I'm so excited to see what he can do without Jaylen Brown. Tatum has all the tools and basketball skill to be the best player in the league. The only thing separating him from that level is that he doesn't consistently take over and dominate in the way that players that have earned that title of the best player in the league have, like Jokic, LeBron, Shea, Giannis, Curry. Yes, he's won a championship. Yes, he's had dominant games, but I still believe there's another level. And that's more of a compliment than anything. It's probably the biggest compliment I can give a basketball player. Besides, of course, to say that he actually is that. But back to my point. Even after such a brutal injury that can destroy careers, I still think Tatum can reach this level I'm talking about. Because he only just turned 28. He's still technically early prime. And most importantly, he doesn't rely on athleticism as much as many other stars. Tatum relies more on his generational combination of size and skill, which is why he has this ceiling in the first place. He's truly a rare and special talent. But JT has literally filled out his skill set. He's such a polished scorer. His defense and playmaking have reached elite levels as well. So what does he need to improve upon? I think the biggest jump JT has left to make is a mental one, and maybe the torn Achilles and the recovery from it can even help him with it. And I don't mean he's mentally weak or anything at all. I just mean when we need you in a big game, are we hoping you're going to be the best player on the floor no matter who we play? Or do we know you're going to be the best player on the floor? My problem with Tatum is that, as I've said, he has the tools to be the best player in the league. He pretty much has the perfect arsenal. He's a dream build, a 6'9" or 10 wing, an elite scorer from all three levels, from the post or the perimeter, has literally averaged 30 in the NBA. He's one of the best playmaking forwards we've ever seen. He's become that. He got up to 6 assists in 2025 and has never averaged 3 turnovers. For comparison, Jaylen Brown had the highest usage rate of any Celtic ever last season. He only had 5 assists and over 3 turnovers. But back to Tatum, he's also a truly elite defender. He's a rare, special, all-around versatile player. I'm talking a borderline top 5, both offensive and defensive player in the league. So he should be an undebatable top 5 player in the league, right? Even top 3? Well, he's not, and he wasn't before the injury. He was always stuck hovering borderline top 5, which is great. Let me be clear. Obviously, I'm not saying borderline top 5 in the NBA is anywhere near bad. I just have a long-standing belief that there's another level of in-game mental fortitude that I don't think Tatum has reached to this point. You don't see him consistently dominate, especially in the playoffs, for series at a time, for games in a row, like a Jokic or a Shea or a Giannis in his prime or a Curry. He's had games, but it's about consistency. He's never been that unquestionable top 3 player in the NBA, even top 5. He's always hovered just short of it, despite having the full package to get there. And as I said, we have seen him tap into this potential that I see in him in games like the game he tore his Achilles, 2025 Game 5 versus the Knicks. Over 40 points. He was having arguably the best game of his career, just in complete takeover mode where he's absolutely unstoppable from all 3 levels and beyond. If you throw a double or help off your man, he's making the right pass, and he's elite on defense too, great rebounder. But I can count these games on one finger, whereas a guy like Jokic and all those other names I mentioned, it's something you're accustomed to seeing every single night. Tatum also had that 2022 Game 6 versus Milwaukee where he had 46 to dig the Celtics out of a 3-2 hole. In 2023 Game 7 versus Philly where he had 51 without a single turnover. He could not be stopped. Obviously, it's a high standard, but I want to see more games like this consistently. I don't want to see the tour dates. Like we just talked about Game 7 versus Philly, but let's talk about Game 6. The very game before that, down 3-2 to the Sixers. The dude was 1 for 15 with 3 points in the first 43 minutes of the game. This is what I'm talking about. He's not prone to these letdowns. There's something that happens to him in his confidence and his mentality, specifically as a shooter and scorer when he faces pressure. Obviously, as you can see, not every time, but far too often. Not to mention the Olympics. In the series later versus Miami, he dug himself into a 3-0 hole. Of course, the whole team, but he was a big part of that. So don't hit me with, oh, he got injured in Game 7. Yes, Jaylen choked, but let's be real. That series was a disaster, even if they won 3 in a row to come back. Tatum also gets an injury excuse for the abysmal 22 finals where he shot in the 30s from the field. All these instances together, these playoff performances, exemplify how the ceiling for Tatum to be nothing short of the best player in the league is there. He has both that all-around game and the elite scoring volatility. Or maybe ceiling's the better word. Or at least maybe that's what I meant, but actually volatility is the perfect word for Tatum. It's variant. You never know exactly what you're going to get. But that's my point. The ceiling of best player in the league and and the proof of it is there, but the consistency to actually hold that title is not. People will say, oh, Tatum can't do anything to prove people wrong. He's always going to be held to this ridiculous standard. Oh, he impacts the game in so many ways, and all you're worried about is the scoring and efficiency. But that's my point. He does impact the game in so many ways. That's why if he dialed in his efficiency and consistency as a shooter and scorer, specifically in the playoffs, he would literally be the best player in the league because he's doing so many things. I'm not denying that he impacts the game in so many other ways. That's actually my point again. But when he's not scoring efficiently alongside the other stuff, he's not as good as when he is. It's pretty simple. Even when the Celtics won the championship, yes, Tatum led the team in points, assists, and rebounds. He has a finals MVP argument. 100% he does. But at the same time, that team was stacked, and there was a reason he didn't win the finals MVP. He shot 42% from the field and had a sub 55% true shooting percentage that playoff. He shot 38% from the field in the finals. 6 for 16 in game 1, 6 for 23 in game 2. And yes, he had 12 assists in game 2. Yes, he was drawing doubles, sometimes triples. Yes, he was part of, and not only that, but the best player on one of the most dominant single season teams in NBA history. But he still left people wanting more. People want to see him individually take over to call him the best player in the NBA because we see it from guys like Jokic. Like with how high Tatum's skill level is, I just find it crazy that we haven't seen this dude get 70, win an MVP, win a finals MVP. He's too talented not to. I think his skill set and his potential is that elite. At his best, Tatum should be prime KD with better playmaking and better defense. But KD's a better, more consistent shooter and scorer. But Tatum has the tools and ceiling to be just that. And if you disagree, deep down, I think you know it's true. And now, without having to take turns with Jaylen Brown, another ball-dominant isolation scorer, and seeing the way he came back from that Achilles injury immediately, with another offseason to heal, with all the time off to get mentally stronger and work on his shooting specifically, I think Jayson Tatum is set to have an MVP season and Hall of Fame second half of his career. I'm talking an even better second half of his career than the first half, which was already a Hall of Fame career in its own right. But I think Tatum's a first ballot guy, and I want to see him prove that. And all he has to do is improve his shooting efficiency in the playoffs, not disappear and be all of a sudden unable to hit a single shot for stretches upon stretches. If he can flip that switch and do that, we're talking about the best basketball player in the world. And I still think he can, even after the Achilles. He's only 28 or 19 or 20. Let me know what you guys think about my take in the comments. Are my standards too high, or is there another level for Jayson Tatum to reach? Drop your take below.